Hello and welcome to Pankration Philosophy. I'm Pocholo Cruz.
I'm Scott McDonald, co-host.
I'm James Yang, baby.
Yes, you are James
Yes.
Yang.
Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having me.
No
bro.
problem. Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you for being here,
Yeah.
and congratulations on the victory, bro.
Thank you.
Like I
Coming
said,
fresh from a fight.
yeah, day after, you are incredible to watch. The thing with you, bro, is every time you fight, you get better. You do something new, and I appreciate that so much about your game. And I'm glad you made time for us today to be on this crazy ass podcast, bro. So, and you know,
Not actual guns with his fist.
yeah, but Matt was talking to him after the fight, and Matt said to him, he was literally like, "No, I like shootouts as long as the other person dies." That's literally what Matt said. That's a Matt Hume quote.
We need that.
I like shootouts as long as the other person dies. So
That's gonna
take
be- that's
that
gonna be on a t-shirt.
philosophical analysis of just it implied that quote to life and see where it gets you. You know what I'm saying? If the cops are chasing you or some shit and you need to shoot it out rather than go to jail, I'm gonna say shoot it out. Actually, I'm not say shoot out. Matt said shoot it out. So there we go.
That's also horrible advice. I advise you, if you are in clashes with law enforcement.
He's a
do
cop.
not-
He's a cop. So of course the law would say that.
Oh yeah, so people get shot for less. You think if you shoot back at
No,
them-
only if you're white. That was only to white people. My quote was only to the white masses. So, and then please don't bother us. So fuck it. It was a bad quote.
Anyway, thank you, Scott. All right, so James, back to the first question. How'd you get started in martial arts? Do you own a gun, James?
Shootouts. Yeah.
Shootouts. Yeah.
I don't know. The martial arts journey for me, man. From the earliest day I can remember, man, that's all I wanted to do, man. Just be a martial artist. My father was really heavy on Bruce Lee, and he was a martial artist himself.
Okay.
He was like in the Wing Chun, and kind of brought me up into like, just in the philosophy of Bruce Lee, you know. And as a kid, I always watched a lot of fucking Jet Li movies, Wong Fei Hung, this old kung fu classic, and I mean that was like my biggest idol, you know, for me.
Okay, Joe.
Did you pretend you were Jet Li at any point when you were little?
Always, man.
I feel like you did.
You know, my parents wanted to do martial arts at first, you know, because they said it was like too dangerous, you know.
Mhm.
But as a kid growing up, where I was growing up, it was like you get bullied, you picked on, you know. It's like, and if you can be a victim and get picked on, or you can like go, you know, fight these people off, and what you had to do, you know. And
Oh dang! So you weren't even doing just Jet Li in your bedroom by yourself. You were literally doing Jet Li in the streets. That's what you just told me. You were literally like, "This dude's fucking with me," and I'm like, "Scott."
He's going. He's going full Jet Li.
I just did it just so people would leave me alone, you know. People
Yeah.
get the word got out, and like, oh man, if I mess with this kid, he's like, you know, you get in a fight, it's gonna be a hard fight, and so.
How old were you when like you were getting into these scraps? And...
Oh, man, the youngest thing I remember, I was maybe like 4 or 5. I was with my grandma. That's my grandma. She's walking me and my cousin.
And sorry, where is this? You said you grew up, and it happened where you were growing up.
This is in Shoreline, man. This is just in
I
Shoreline.
believe it,
Streets
bro.
are rough.
It's not even that rough, but when you're.
That's what we're gonna
growing
take
up-
Ender for his first date.
It can-
Aurora.
It can be rough anywhere. Everywhere has
Everywhere
rough
has
spots.
it, you know. And I think it was just people just, you know, punk kids, but they were
Yeah.
harassing my grandma, just like heavy, you know. I remember as a kid, I was just wishing I was, an adult, whip their ass up, you know, and just like protect my family basically. My grandma just fended them off with her slipper and was just like, was fighting
That's
these
old
like
school Asian.
dudes,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
they're like, you know, they're the full-grown guys like harassing an old lady.
But you were
with
socking them and
kids,
shit and kicking them?
with kids. Yeah, I was like there, but I mean I was a little kid. What can I do?
But you
know?
were still like punching them and kicking them. And
I was
shit?
trying to, but you know, my
Like
grandma
right in the
just
nuts.
grabbed me and just rolled us away and was like, you know, throwing shoes and we had to bounce. But those kind of things happen, you know. And
This is just like shape you, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Because I just had this vision when you told me that whole thing, like that the neighborhood kids knew there was this fucking other little kid who fought like Jet Li, and they were just rattled. That's how my mind took it.
In those days, no one knew who the fuck Jet Li was, man.
Okay.
No one knew who Jet Li was unless you're like, you know.
Unless you're
Asian,
you're
but-
Asian and
So they knew
and-
they knew who James Yang was before they knew who Jet Li was. That shit is real, bro.
Not nice PR spin on that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
man, that's gonna be your new marketing campaign. But no, I feel it, bro. So it was like it started with a just fascination. It started with your family. That's where it started with your dad.
Yeah, your dad,
Wing Chun.
Wing Chun.
You like
Yeah.
watching the. I think I can relate to that, bro. Me and Colin, you and my brother, we like watched Power Rangers as little kids and used to run around.
And
kicking.
likewise, yeah,
Yeah.
Rangers too.
Teenage Mutant
I was
Ninja
like-
Turtles. Yeah.
It all kind of shaped us, you know, our generation. You
Mhm.
know, we didn't really have that UFC back then to like look at, you know, just
No.
that wasn't available for us. So
No.
we had other things to look at. But yeah.
Okay, so then was your first martial art then Wing Chun? Did you start like how old were you when you started doing it?
I actually started when I was 11 years old. I joined
Okay.
the International Lion Dance Team martial arts. So
Okay.
Started with like traditional kung fu, southern styles kung fu, Choi Leg Foot, Wing Chun, Hung Gar, Tai Chi. We started in this little dungy garage in Chinatown.
That's
It was
awesome.
Like, a little association. It was-
That is
and
an Asian
I was the
skills.
only kid. Everyone was like, there was like maybe 6 or 7 adults.
So you're
And
the
I
youngest one there?
I was the only kid.
Okay,
and
only
like
kid.
we would spar, and I was
Okay.
like a little kid. These guys were like security guards some in places, and like, but everyone was a martial artist from somewhere else. And those times, you know, there was a lot of like old mentality of like you learn from one person, you learn this my system only, and that's
Right.
it.
Ah,
And
okay.
my
Okay.
teacher, Stevie Tony, he was like very open about everything. He was like, dude,
That's
just
good.
learn for all of us. Like one guy had a karate background, Kyokushin karate. The other guy was like a little more Western boxing, and like
Okay.
I just kind of learned from all these guys, and kind of grew me up there with that line dance team. So and it's a big part of my culture too.
Yeah, bro, you're a karate kid, man.
Kung Fu kid.
You're a kung fu kid.
Karate's
You know, you're-
Japanese. That's cultural appropriation.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm here. I'm here so I can learn
Karate too.
about
I
the
mean,
culture.
that's the thing
You
though.
know what I mean?
There is, like Bruce Lee said, there shouldn't be one way of fighting. There's not a Japanese way of fighting or
Yeah.
Chinese way of fighting or whatever. You know, it's just everyone. It's just fighting.
Fighting becomes fight.
It's just martial arts. And
Mhm.
you start disconnecting everything. That's when you start putting yourself in a capsule. You know,
There's an Irish way of fighting.
and it's the Irish way of fighting.
It's you get drunk and
Is it?
then you play bagpipes. Wait,
Wait, bagpipes?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
That's
was
how I
like,
plays the bagpipes.
yeah. It's confused sometimes. We have bagpipes. We don't really fuck with them like that, but you know, that was what I grew up with. Getting drunk and fighting.
Getting drunk and fighting with
I did.
bagpipes.
You grab a dolly? You grab a dolly?
No,
Chuck out a
making
butt?
uh,
us look bad. But no, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
That,
you started that like so young, but then okay, so you started, and then how long did you train like
From that age till
Yeah,
now, right
from
now.
that age till now.
You know what
Okay.
I mean? So when I was 11 years old, I trained with them. You know, my line dance team was a big part of that, performing all around. And I trained with that, doing that. I did some Vietnamese style called Bo Việt Nam.
Okay.
And it was a lot of like leg tags, jumping leg tags, and the teacher there also did like his brother is like a Taekwondo national coach, so
Oh,
I learned
okay.
from them, learned some Aikido from them.
Yes,
and-
Aikido.
Hey, you did Aikido.
I did. That was my first martial art,
See?
man. Did you do Randori? You ever do Randori?
No.
Randori's filthy, bro.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I liked about that shit is they're like, all right, Randori day, 6 motherfuckers run up on you and you got to use your Aikido.
Oh,
but
what?
then after doing it a few times, I realized I probably got stomped. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I was at school getting into it like I did, like, you know, I would have just got freaking brother stomped had I fallen. You know, but no, I loved Aikido because it taught me about momentum. But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the best thing about it was just that I was learning kind of good values. You know, I mean, I was a kind of a bad kid growing up. Not like my parents were bad parents; they're great parents. Like my rest of my siblings are great, and my sister grew up good. I was just the only one that was like kind of wild, you know. And I was like
Yeah,
a
bro.
wild kid
Okay.
running around.
You like the trouble.
I guess so. I
You
like,
like
to push.
the
I like to push people's buttons. Is what it was. Like people told me not to do something,
Yeah.
and I would do it just to do it to see them like react.
Yeah, so you can
It's-
push buttons. So
I
you
like-
stepped
I love
over the
it.
line?
I was a habitual line stepper. I love to get
Yeah.
checked.
I
get
like
hit.
that, though.
I get hit by
Yeah.
my grandma, and I like that shit.
Yeah.
Get beat.
Yeah.
'Cause I deserved it. I was
You're
like,
like, no,
I know
let's see how far I can take this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see how
pretty
far I
much.
can take this.
Pretty much,
Okay.
man.
You're a questioner. They're like,
and then-
do this, and
yeah.
you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why should I?
Why should I?
Hey, don't
I guess
touch this.
I
I
kinda-
mean this.
It's that kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean this thing right here.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, that's funny. Okay.
Something like to be told to do. I was kind of a rebel.
So is it fair to say you've had in the beginning just it was a traditional martial arts
Very traditional.
path? You did a lot of the traditional arts, and does that that definitely influences your style today? I feel like.
For sure.
Right.
So, the first martial art tournament I did was like, my CEO was like, just told me I had to go up to Canada and do this tournament, you know. And I was like, okay, Tiger Bomb International. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Okay.
And you want me to go up to the Grand Championship? That means you gotta compete in a hand form, a weapon form, and you gotta fight in one day.
Huh.
All in one
Okay.
day. So I was like, all right.
So weapon form, you fight a person with a weapon?
No. So you do like a form.
Oh, it's like kata.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you compete like a bunch of other against other people.
If your arm's not cut off, you can then go fight.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah.
Or even a wooden sword. If you get hit with that, you're like, ah. Dang.
Bro, that's
Dude, I thought you were just
no
stick
joke.
fighting other people because that would have been awesome. But so you did the forms and then.
And I had a fight. So I had the day I did it.
All on the same day.
All the same day, and my events were like in between each other. So I literally like I did my form from all these judges, got my
did a run.
score. Then I ran straight, did a round, fought a dude,
Yeah.
came back, did my other form, and then I had to run back, fight my other fight, and then I had another fight after that.
Oh, jeez.
And then I went through that, and then at the end of it, they're like, they took all the divisions together, and like, you have to do it one more time, because like there's like the top of each division had to compete one more time for the forms.
Okay.
And yeah, I ended up getting that day, and I was like, man, I love this. You know, I love like having to like
You like the competing
the competition
part?
aspect of it.
Okay.
I loved it. I always loved martial arts, and it was always kind of like my dream to do that. And
here you are doing it.
And here I am doing it. You know.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to China to train with Shaolin monks. You know, that's something I always wanted to do.
Oh,
And
wow.
Did you do that?
when I got an opportunity to do that, and you know something about that, I gotta say, man, I feel like it's so beneficial for everyone to like just go to China, rule China, 6 months or something to almost a year. Just go there and live that lifestyle where you're getting like, you get mentally. Well, I won't say mentally broken. I've seen a lot of people mentally break, but it's
Yeah.
good for you though. You get mentally, spiritually, and like physically broken.
I feel like it opened your eyes to a
And
lot.
then you bring that. Once you get shattered, you bring all that together, and then you like, you know, you're a different person afterwards. You learn a lot of lessons.
So how did you get mentally broken with the Shaolin monks?
So living.
Hold up, just let's respect what I just said. That is deep. So how did you get broken by the Shaolin monks in rural China?
Yeah, well, it's very different when you know, leaving like, you know, such a nice country like America. You're here, you know, it's like everything's so easy, you know. And when you get put out there and you see how people live, it's just a totally different thing, man. Like, I can explain, like in the wintertime, northern China is very.
So wait, you
cold.
mean the Communist Party didn't give abundance to all the peasants?
You got it. I mean, now you go.
Say what?
Listen, you go now, times are good. China's got a lot of.
You
money
mean
now.
communist capitalist China?
It's great. It's always been capitalist. It's always
No,
been,
for sure.
You know, when I got there, it's like right around 2007, right before the Olympics, 2008, and then from then on it boomed. Like the time I was there, I just saw a huge jump. It was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was just like in the wintertime, it was 6 months, locked in grid ice. We had
Grid
no
ice, damn.
little food, little to no food. You know, the closest town is like 6 kilometers away, and that town was like a dirt road called Yerher. It's like it's like dirt roads and just greasy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I loved it.
So
I love
it's
how people
rural,
out there.
rural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people of China, Dongbei is where I was.
So the peasants
It
are
was
like, I don't mean to say peasants, the rural people are like, it's rough here.
Farmers,
And then there's
yeah.
another place where like, it's rougher than here. That's where you were.
Oh, you're going there? Oh, damn.
They call it the armpit of China. That's what
The
they call it.
armpit of China, damn.
Dude, so you're in the armpit of China with the Shaolin monks.
Training 8 hours a day.
hours.
Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go run. And in the wintertime, it's like dark out. And it's basically like military style. They have bells, everything rings off. You know, certain times you have to eat, and the
Wow.
mood is like it's a mesh, it's a hall, it's a food hall. You just slop it on your bowl or your plate. And
Damn, yes,
heating-
that is
heating by
like real
coal in the back.
Yeah,
and
that is
radiator
real
heats.
prison, like or like.
But I love, and everyone wore
or
orange
like bare
jumpsuits.
base,
It,
yeah.
it seemed like, you know,
Yeah.
prison. But
Hey
I was
James, if
doing
you
what
want to
I
have that
loved.
experience, you can just commit a crime and go to prison.
Yeah, and you actually
There
get
might be
better
some
food.
more- yeah,
You
there
actually
might-
get
yeah.
better food in jail. I would think. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen people just snap mentally. Like people broke out there, like legit.
What did
Yeah.
that look like?
So this guy, I don't want to shout my names, but one of the guys, yeah.
He rung the bell.
I mean, he basically should have. I mean, he should have just quit, man, because I mean, his hair was growing out, like, and it was like in his eyes or something. And this is like, you know, heavy in the wintertime. It's like,
Okay.
you know, just, now at this point, like, food is not. The trucks are so much ice in the roads that trucks can't come up to us and get us food, you know. And the way we shovel snow is like we have like literally a tree branch with like a 2x4 connected to it. We're like shoveling snow out one day for like a training session. That'd be like a training session,
Damn.
miles out, you know, and then like
Yeah.
the snow which comes up to like, you know, it's thick ass snow.
So were you guys in elevation too? Or?
We're in elevation too,
Oh,
up in
okay.
the-
elevation.
So how
winter?
old were you when you were here?
Just right out of 17, 18, just turning 18.
Damn.
Turning
So when you have this like brand, or like anyway, this is a better question. So when you were doing this, was there ever a point where you were like, what the fuck am I doing?
No,
Or-
man.
Not
Every time
once.
I was like,
You're
I was-
being real with me. Not once you didn't want to come home and eat a little.
Of course, I wanted to come home and see my family. That's the biggest thing. When you're gone, the first thing you miss, first thing for me, anyways, is I miss my family. Biggest, you know, and all, you know, just.
You didn't miss any of the pleasantries here in America. All the.
You know, the
great
first
things?
couple weeks, he's gone after the first week or so. You know, you like every day is just so long because it's just like you're sitting. There's no TV.
Yeah.
There's like no internet. There's there's nothing to do basically but train kung fu, and you know,
Yeah.
meditate, read. That's all you do. You know.
Well, hearing you sound this like I feel like you came in or you went into this like situation knowing it would be like this. So I want to take a step back. What about like, how did you get this opportunity, or what made you hear about it, and what made you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if I hear this, or I know Ender, I can't imagine Ender wouldn't make it over there.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's been on his phone like every minute that we've been here.
Well, I've been
Yeah.
mostly trying to take a nap, but you guys won't let me.
But then, so shut up,
Yeah.
Ender. Anyway, back to you, Jay. So what about that made it appealing for you, or something that you wanted to do?
Well, so originally the plan was, so I was, going to school, UW and everything. I was doing the conventional
Because
life, right?
that's
This is
so
what
that's, yeah.
This is the
yeah.
one of the most important parts of your story is this
Yeah.
right here.
So,
and I
as-
have questions about it, but go ahead.
So I was doing like the conventional life, wanting to go to school like after high school. You're supposed to go to college and get a job and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I decided to take like 6 months off and just go to China and just get my dream and do it,
Yeah.
And then I ended up just like learning from other people, like there's more ways to live your life than what we've been taught all our lives as
Yeah.
kids. They're like, we've been brought up in school saying like you have to do this way, a certain way,
The
to have
conventional
a
lifestyle.
successful
Yeah.
life. But that doesn't, it has no meaning, because successful to me is like being at the end of your life on your deathbed and looking back and not having regrets, about, oh, I should have done this, I should have did that. And to me, that was what I thought, when I was out there, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay here. And the school, offered me to perform with them and be with the performance team, and I just took the opportunity as I was there.
But you in our conversations about because you were were you in the engineering program in UW?
I was gonna go into engineering.
You were going to go into engineering.
I wasn't in the program, but I was going to.
Right. It was
That was
just
the
because
plan.
of your
That was the plan.
your accomplishments in school. It was like that's where you were
I
probably.
want to be engineering. Yeah.
Okay. So I've also heard you talk about working like 9-to-5 jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's something that you said to me way back in the day is like you're just not. There's something in you that you don't like doing that. Like the 9-to-5 grind, the repetitiveness, the monotony.
Being trapped inside all day, having someone breathing on you, that's like,
Why? Can you explain that more? Why do you resist that?
I
What
guess
is
it goes
it?
back to as my childhood. I just never could. I'm not that person. And honestly, I felt like it's because of China, living in China and going through that. Like I said, getting your spirit, your mind, and your body broken down and like shattered in the glass, basically,
Mhm.
and having to pick all the pieces back and then you become like, you understand like life's different. You don't have to live like certain ways. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well, is it?
I have to experience that kind of-
I don't want to lose it. You know me, bro.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead,
on.
go
I
ahead.
gotta speak
Yeah.
now. You had this experience in China that changed how you look at life, profoundly
For sure.
shifted your perception.
Absolutely.
And being in an area where there's scarcity, there's uncomfortable conditions, there's not a lot of stimuli, you were able to like cultivate this new outlook. And it sounds like what you're saying to me is like in modern like corporate industrial societies, we can't do that.
Yeah. Well, working for a big company for me, it just felt like no one really cares about you. And every day you're going through the same BS conversations with these people. Like, no one really cares, And it's always like fake conversations, and I hate fake shit. Like why are you smiling in my face and like talking about shit that we talked about yesterday? Every day, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And-
Or how about that water?
Yeah, man. And-
Good. You're talking about the water cooler conversations.
Yeah, it's basically, and I wasn't for me, it's not that I can't do it. I was grinding for a minute. I was working, night shift at an aerospace company, working UPS by day, package delivery, just working, just grinding, trying to make money. I was like, man, for all the time I'm putting into this,
What are you getting out of it?
what am I getting out of it?
Here's
I'm
your
getting-
paycheck.
Yeah,
That's
and it was
what
like a
it
shit paycheck, and I'm
Yeah.
like, my body's breaking down. Mentally, I was just like, mentally I'm fine, I can do it, but it's just like, why do I need to do
But
this?
why would
There's
you-
other
why would you
ways
put
to
yourself-
enjoy my
Yeah.
life, and I was like killing my soul, basically. That's what I felt
Yeah.
like.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get you there. The soul, because I have this whole thesis, and I've talked about it on the show. Like, I have like a lot of far leftist political views.
Say what?
And yeah,
Anyway.
well, but I'm honest about them, right?
Yeah.
But my whole theory is like in our society, like especially with like capitalist modernity, is the jobs we work end up just turning us into almost like a commodity ourselves. So what we're doing is we're doing these actions over and over again, and then they inherently become meaningless because of just how repetitive it is, right? And then when you look on an economic scale, there's like exploiters and then the exploited. So when you're the exploited, you can either come into that consciousness and be like, well, this is my class, this is what I'm doing, I'm not fairly compensated for the work I'm doing, and there's very few opportunities for me to have a spiritual experience and cultivate myself. because I need to survive, right? And what I'm trying to get at is the spiritual, because I feel like right now in our society there's a lot of spiritual death. I'm not talking about God. I don't believe in all that shit. I'm talking about just purpose and heart, and I think capitalism will never give you spirituality. I think if like socialism, and there's some principles there that lead to creativity, but state communism, state capitalism won't give you that either, right? So when you say the soul and you say it was soul crushing, can you unpack that a little bit more?
So, like, I'm not anyone special, you know. Everyone has it in them. Everyone's special. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to look. That's what I mean. When you bring everything gets broken down, you gotta see yourself who you really are at your core. You know what I mean? And every day you get all this minutia of like, oh, you have to have nice cars and nice, all this shit that doesn't make you you. But they think that just having this stuff makes them above other people or something. It's like, it's a crazy mentality to have. I never really understood that.
The material value.
The material value of things, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, prioritizing that over just being, you know, a better person yourself, and like doing what makes you feel good, and not having just like being like after the money, and that's like money equals happiness. Like we've all kind of been brainwashed like on that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
especially like in this culture. But I think, just hearing you say that, it's just, well, been a common theme throughout. I think you're not just a martial artist, you're just an artist at the core.
You are,
like wanting to express yourself. But I feel like what you saw, or what you see in most people, is that a lot of people don't want to express themselves. Because it's easier to not. It's easier just to hide and to not pretty much expose yourself to that. And I think a very telling thing also is just how, you know, your experience in China. I think you were able to see pretty much, like, you know, what you're just saying, talking about material wealth. You realize that that's all false, really. Like, and for what purpose does it really entail? And I think what makes it hard for you to accept like the 9-to-5 grind is that you realize that you've already been put in a state where you realize you don't need the material things necessarily. You know, you're in China in a cold isolated like mountain area having to shovel snow. You realize that a lot of people are really willing to sacrifice pretty much sacrifice their life for material stuff. Like, you know, like you're saying, like that usual grind. Why do they do that? Or the soul crushing grind? They do that just to make money, and then like the money for what? And then to live lives. Like, but then they can only live their life in like the amount of time that their company or their work allows them to. And I feel like that's the true prison right there.
Yeah,
like,
shit's slavery, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Like, I'm not saying like every people that makes money are like not happy or whatever.
Oh no, it's not that. But there's a worth to it. And there's that time. It's because it's not that black and white, but I think I feel the same way. It's like there's that time to value ratio. You know, from there, like, okay, you put in this much time, but how much are you getting out of it? Like, I can definitely relate to what you're saying when you're talking about how you're working these jobs and you're wondering, oh, why am I doing this, or for what worth is it? Like, it's not just that. I'm not saying money equals bad. I'm just saying like there are things that you can gain. Well, you
don't
can
get it
gain
twisted.
money.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, anyway, that is what Scott's saying. But what I'm saying is that you can earn money while losing a lot more.
For sure.
A lot more of that in your life. Yeah.
And James, do you think it was like, because you had an encounter with like yourself in China?
I still do.
And you do all the time. That's why you do things to like face yourself.
Yeah.
But it's different, I feel like, based on environmental factors. So you're literally in an environment where I feel like you had in China where you had to face yourself. All these distractions are removed, and so how do you in this society now, especially American society, where there's all these distractions, there's really an obsession with like kind of creating this like celebrity. Everyone can be their own celebrity now. They can be a celebrity because
that's
of
social media.
Right now, everyone looks at what you say, like they value your opinion more because it's out there. You can create little videos and stuff. How, with all those distractions and the like cult of multiple personalities in America, how do you carve out time to just face yourself?
That's the thing. I think people just need to be honest with themselves, man. And it's a hard thing to do because everyone's ego is always going to be, you know, telling you this, telling you that, and I think that's why martial arts is so beneficial to my life, especially because that's always been a consistent thing that helped me break it down, you know, break myself down and keep myself in check. And of course, the people around me, I have great people around me, you know, my loved ones as well. Always are like, they're with me to keep me, you know, centered, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't have all the answers because the ego will tell you do, and then maybe you don't. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. So it's always a learning. It's just a journey. And I'm always I'm on it.
So do you think, because the ego is really rewarded in our society, right? Like, I mean, other than our president who just has no ego at all and is completely humble and so just really selfless.
Right.
So what do you think about people like that though? People who just asshole their way to the top, or they're just so immersed in their own ego they literally can't see anyone outside of themselves, and they like, because there's problems, a little bit of a two-edged sword with your philosophy. One philosophy is self-discovery is important and doing what makes you happy. That's one way of cutting it, which is like that can be beneficial to everyone as a whole. The other way that cuts is like whatever makes me happy is top priority regardless of others' happiness. And I think checking the ego is an important kind of like balancing point between those two things. So what's your analysis on martial artists whose ego get out of control, or just celebrities, or just people what does it look like when the ego gets out of control, and what are your thoughts on that? Or maybe even yourself. I mean, you check yourself a lot. You talk shit.
But I love talking shit. Who doesn't,
No, I know, but
it's something.
Pushing those buttons.
On this podcast, we ask multi-layered questions like that. So do you get where I'm going, kind of?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. I don't get too caught up with thinking about other people's what they want to believe in or how they want to act, because I mean at the end of the day, is it my right to like tell them how to think or think of, you know what I mean? Like,
and then like what you think is right for you might not be right for someone else.
Exactly. That's their own.
But then we get into moral relativism, and that's where I'm just saying it gets dangerous. No, because I fuck with how your outlook on life, because I've seen how it's turned you into a humble person. I'm just saying the same people use that way of seeing the world quite a bit differently, right? And then it kind of gets into this weird libertarian thing where it's like, my shit's my shit. No one can tell me that this is not my shit. And then I just feel like, what's the balance with thinking about the world that way?
Someone might think that for like a couple years, and then all of a sudden they have a moment, some kind of epiphany, and their life changes, and then, or vice versa, you know what I mean?
Everyone learns, different.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I mean, as long as you're honest with yourself, and if that's who you are, then be who the fuck you are. If you're an asshole, be an asshole. Don't try to be someone that you're not. If you're a nice person, be nice. You know what I mean? Because your life's too short to like.
For sure.
Your life's too short to be lived by others.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing too. In our gym, in our culture, right?
Yeah.
I think just subconsciously we do a good job of kind of seeing who's an asshole, who does that, and then they don't.
Thanks, guys.
They don't get that. No, not you. You portray yourself that way, but you are not like that.
Yeah.
What we do, and it's a hub for the rest of society, is when someone does that, they're not a good training partner. They're all out for themselves. We kind of start to avoid them, right? Because the ego is important, but then also I think the asshole on some levels, there needs to be some accountability, right?
Sure.
Even if he says that's the way I am, right? So like in martial arts, like how does that transition to like someone you're training with or a training partner? Like have you read to like check a training partner? Like,
Absolutely.
And what is that? And I've seen you check because you're a coach too.
Yeah, Ender.
So what does that look like? Like, because I'm just trying to get back to your philosophy of like, I think you don't fully believe so that's who they are. Like you'll accept that that's who they are.
That's who they are, but I mean, there's times and places where they have to be respectful to where they're at.
Right.
I mean, they can't just. I mean,
it's true.
And that's what I was trying to get back to, because the philosophy because I know your beliefs because we talked a lot. This is just now. There's a camera here, so that's just I've always wondered like where you go with that. But go ahead about like having to check people, or if like someone's ego is out of control. Like how do you deal with that as a martial artist, but just as a fucking person? Like, how do we deal with the asshole?
Take my fist.
That's what I'm saying.
It gets to that point, though. You know what I mean? I mean, some people can't listen. No matter what you say, they can't hear shit. You know what I mean? And that's still how you break your ego. You know what I mean? They have to have that. You have to be humbled sometimes.
There has to be some sort of like social force, right?
Sure.
And I was listening to Dave East on the way here. He has a song called "Violent" with Lloyd Banks, and he says, sometimes you got to give violent. That's the only way they'll understand you.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is like, there's a balance. If someone disagrees with me, like someone Facebook discussion, your political beliefs are bullshit, Scott. Your beliefs are bullshit. I don't think he's understanding me. It's not that. It's not that.
He go get dope.
But there's different levels of that, right?
Sure.
Checking the ego, and I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I just wanted to know. I wanted to let you talk now, though. How do how do you deal with that on an interpersonal level?
I think it can always be talked out, man. And, you know, that's what you always try to do first. You know, try to view something in a situation. You know, and try to hear the other person's side and really like, you know, be empathetic about it. But it's just a point, you know, where there's a line you start crossing that then changes the atmosphere too. Yeah. You have to understand, you know, either it's not going to be able to be dissolved with words, then something else is going to happen if it gets past that, you know. And when that does, I'm ready to take care of myself, you know, if that ever happens. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know. So, if someone needs to be checked, I'll check him.
Do you have
That's the thing. I hate bullies, you know, and like even at the Shoreline school, there's this one dude, this big dude had like he's like from Australia. This guy, I don't want to drop names and shit.
Well, it's not Tim Berry pretending to be Australian.
What, another Australian?
Let's just say his name's Tim Berry. Anyways, he was
Australian Berry.
He was cocky. My friend, my good friend, called him Gillette. Yeah. He's from Spain. He's a little Moroccan Spanish kid. This guy from Moldova, he called him Gillette because he's like, you have to watch out for him like when you shave. This kid's sick though. He's one of my favorite. He's a real good friend of mine. But yeah, when they were at lunch hall and this guy was like talking shit. He's like, you know, 6 foot something. He's talking shit to this kid like about sparring day or something, or like having, because every month at the school we have a test day where you're like, you fight, you do forms in front of the whole school, and like
no pressure,
you compete and everything. And he was just barking off at him. And I was in the back of the lunchroom just eating my lunch. I was like hearing all this shit. And I was like, motherfucker, shut your mouth. You know, I'll fight you. And he got all quiet all of a sudden, because at that time I kind of been there like a older student, you know. Yeah. He shut up for a little bit, and then I've kind of just forced him into it. Yeah. So that we would do a fight. You know, I talked to his Sifu, and you know, I set it up, and we did it. And the only reason why I did it was so that everyone else in the school would be like, stop being so lazy and start taking training more serious. Because there was that kind of a time where these new students were kind of be like lazy and hella cocky and like talking mad shit and thinking they're better than they really were, you know. And yeah, he was like way bigger than me, but like I still went in, and then, you know, I torched him for 2 rounds. He pretty much, you know, he was done, you know, after 2 rounds. And after that though, like it lit a fire in his ass, and he shut the fuck up, humbled himself, and just trained hard, man, and like helped other people, and like it changed the whole school, you know. It helped everyone around the school.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's kind of my point here, is don't fall for too much individualistic philosophy, because at the end of the day, we can be for the individual, we can be for the person and their aspirations, but there's going to be some societal checking when people get out of hand, and that's a perfect example of that. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I wish it gets harder and harder the higher up you get in like institutions or jobs, because there's people who just have power over you, and you can't check them because you don't have the institutional power, you don't have the collaborative power. But that's why I like martial arts, because that just kind of works itself out sometimes. Either if the person's a dick in sparring or annoying, they just lose partners, or they know they'll injure people. So it just kind of turns into this de facto like discipline. It's like, well, no one's fucking with you anymore. You know what I mean? And I wish things happen like that out here in the world more often. And they do, but
like on Facebook.
Yeah, like
so you can just
no, Zuckerberg does that. Like if you post certain political ideas, your ass is banned. So good job, Zuckerberg, motherfucker.
I thought you were gonna say that he shows up at the house. And I'm just imagining Mark Zuckerberg punching people.
Dude, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I like that one better.
Yeah, I know that's very one in my head. But anyway, back to your story, James. All right, so you're at the Shoreline school. Yeah. So how many years were you there? And how many years did you live in China?
About 4, a little bit
4
more than
years.
4 years.
Okay.
So I was at the Shoreline Academy for about 3. Okay. And we were performing, touring around Asia. Got a huge opportunity in the school. We got to like travel around Asia, just multiple countries. I went to India, like all around. By the way, Mumbai, India was probably one of the roughest spots I've been. It's just tough.
I'm sure.
Talk about that.
Oh man, I never, like I thought China was crazy, you know, overpopulated and like, you know, impoverished. And I went to India and that was like something else, man.
You thought. It was like motherfucker.
New Delhi was sick though. I did a show for like Bollywood Awards.
Oh wow.
Bollywood Awards, dude. It was pretty cool, man. Yeah. Another performance like for the Indian Cricket League at New Hyderabad, which is like a Google hotspot now, you know.
Oh wow.
The tech spot.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
That's what happened. That's the world we live in.
But you know, people were driving taxis, or taxis had like no mirrors and like just whizzing through like alleyways, and like just people just sleeping on the floor, just roll a blanket out in the middle of the day, taking a nap, and just cars whizzing by, and they wake up, roll their blanket up, and just bounce, go to work. Yeah. It was different. It's very crazy culture. I loved it. I loved it. You know, the country, and I loved the people. But
Mumbai.
But yeah, traveling around Asia, it was a great thing. Traveling with the team, we got some crazy travel stories. I mean, our headmaster would like fly himself and go. You know, we would have to take like a bus like a 18-hour bus ride.
Oh,
fucking
what?
Uber.
I know. Yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
real, man. But then one day though, like, one of the performances we went to, I told him, hey man, my visa's about to expire. Can you sort me out with this? He's like, oh yeah, we got you. We leave to the country before I come back. And they're like, oh man, you're expired. You can't come back in China. I was like,
damn.
I was like, dog, what the fuck?
You don't take care of the shit?
Yeah, and I had to fly down to Hong Kong, sleep in the airport overnight. That's the only place they can renew my visa.
Because it's the
and
embassy.
then
Because
come
it's not
back.
technically China.
Yeah, and then
At
come
that
back
time,
in.
yeah.
And he waited for me at the Beijing airport for like 24 hours. And I was like literally the last flight coming back. I was like, this guy's not waiting. He's gone, you know. And
Yeah.
he's like standing out there waiting. And we kicked it. We rode back, flew me back to the city. It was dope, man. The whole team was gone, just him and me. And he was actually a pretty nice guy. We had a good talk, you know. But yeah, man, it was.
He's like, you still fucked up though?
fucked up, man.
I didn't need to do all this.
Yeah,
If you
none
had
of
just
us
taken
had
care.
to.
You like, I just imagine you guys sitting next to each other on the flight, and you're like, he's a really nice guy, and he's talking, and you're just looking at him like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, good cool
Fuck, I
story.
told
You
you,
son of a
man.
bitch.
But he was like buying me food and it's like
Yeah, 'cause
very
he felt
sorry.
guilty.
He was
Yeah.
guilty. Man.
Because he knew he fucked up.
Isn't that funny? People do you dirty, and the next thing here come the gifts.
Yeah.
It's like, motherfucker, I know what you did. At least you tried.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thankful.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's me. This is my face when they do that. Okay. I'm one punching.
One punch man.
Okay, okay.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
Saitama.
That's
Oh.
crazy, bro.
But yeah, then my last year in China, I stayed at Beijing Sports School. I got opportunity to train there. That's where the same school Jet Li came from, actually.
Oh wow!
It comes full
Circle.
circle. That was like an oval. What I just did right there.
It's more of an ellipse. Really?
I was like,
Yeah.
full.
So then
It was
how
more like
was
this.
that? You got to meet Jet Li, or you got to see him?
His master, I met Jet Li's
Oh,
master.
his
He doesn't train, he
master.
doesn't teach there anymore. So
Okay.
this is like we're the Beijing Wushu team. So
Oh, wow.
this is the Beijing Sports School. So it's like not just Wushu, which is what I trained when I was there, but there's like the boxing team, Beijing boxing team, Sanda team, which is like Chinese kickboxing. There's the badminton
Is it like
team,
their Olympic
ping
team
pong
then?
team, all the top teams,
All the top,
the
okay,
national team.
teams.
They draw, they scout
Yeah.
all the kids,
And that's how they
and
get,
the,
the
the
top
best
talent.
athletes, top athletes are there at the school, and they have their own doctors there and everything. It's a great facility, and everyone was always like kind of uppity. I always felt like all the athletes were kind of like always like in the very cliquish
Yeah.
to themselves, and
Yeah.
like
Makes sense.
we all had workers that are cleaning all the equipment and all that stuff. And no one says shit to them. And I always like everybody. I always say hi to everybody. No matter like the janitor or fucking working behind. What doesn't matter what they were. I knew everybody. I was like cafeteria people, you know.
Yeah.
I would go people back and wash my own dishes and shit. I wouldn't let them like do that, do all that, you know. And all these like rich kids were like, you know, just being like, just you know, dicks, you know.
Yeah. Well, they got used to being handed out.
Yeah, because you know they're top athletes, or whatever. But
Yeah, they're used to that status.
yeah. They had no social skills. It's kind of sad though, because
Yeah.
they're like, as kids, they're like,
Because
all they know is that.
they're coddled into that.
All it is, and yeah, man. But it was a great experience. I loved it. I met some great people. You know, from
Do you always? I gotta ask another question. Because my perception of you and having known you for a while now is you always, because you, dude, you are talented, bro.
Thank you.
You're a talented fighter, and you just do things. Like I was talking with Irvin about this, and I was like, this dude literally.
Shout out to Irving.
Shout out to Irving.
You do the McGregor stuff not because you think it's cool, and I don't even. It's just your style. You were doing that before he even came out. You understand.
If anything,
you
McGregor's
understand the
doing the
mechanics.
James Yang stuff.
Yeah, you understand the mechanics very well, and it's like you just. I wouldn't want to fight you at 145, bro. I'm just being real. Like you'd be a pain in the ass. Like,
Would you, man?
Yeah, I know. Hey, my time is fast. It's about you, motherfucker.
No man, DJ said you coming back.
Oh no! Don't bring that up, baby.
One more.
We're focused on you. So it's not about me. It's about James Yang.
Oh, shit.
You do a good job of like not if this is the ego and if this is just kind of how some guys their head gets big in this game. I've seen it. I can just tell. I'll be around a guy in the game or a girl for like 5 or 6 minutes and I just know. I'm like, okay, you think you're the shit. You're entitled.
Mm-hmm.
You always with the praise, with like the accolades, with the talent, you always stay right here. Kind of like one punch is like, what's the philosophy behind that? Is that just all the experiences you shared with us and just culminates into that outlook? Or whatever. I just want to understand it more because it's really, you check yourself, dude, all the time, bro. You're like, no. I mean, I could do better. I could be better. I could, or just what you talk about in China. You're talking to everybody. You're like seeing the common humanity. You're not letting the mindset or the cliquishness that we as humans have, the tribalism, inherent tribalism, just kind of alienate.
Right.
Like what?
I mean, man, it's just
That's because that's lacking now, dude, in the fucking game.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
Totally. Yeah, man. I mean, I just think that the moment you start buying into your hype and your all the accolades and all this shit, that doesn't really mean anything. That's the thing. People don't think. They think like, oh, if I get a UFC belt, oh man, I'm the shit now. But
what does that mean?
I mean, you're not the best martial artist. You're lying to yourself. If you, I can do a demo and like be like and win a bunch of medals and be like, oh man, I'm the shit, and feel like, oh yeah, I'm great. And then I can go out and get my ass stomped out, and like people don't understand that. Like you don't understand like when you start doing that to yourself and that's your ego, right? Telling you that you're the best at whatever, then you're kind of cutting yourself off from growth, and you know what I mean. You're stopping your ability to want to learn more because you already think you know it all. And I want to stay in the mentality where although I'm confident in myself, I can always know there's higher levels to reach, and I always can get better at anything.
And dude, anybody
can.
No, but anybody who's around you can see that. Like that's what I told Irvin. I was like, the reason, because he asked me about your fight and my analysis, and I gave it to him, and I was like, the thing about James though is that someone will show you something and then you'll try to do it. You don't just outright reject it. You internalize it and then you try to see it, and if it doesn't work for your game, then that's it. I feel like you give people the benefit of the doubt if they're trying to give you advice or trying to make you better.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're like, I do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like unless some motherfucker comes in like, all right, James, chin up, and just start doing that.
So you're doing too many straight punches. What you gotta do, gotta open up.
That's really what makes you so good in my mind too. Is like I just see the improvement.
I listen to everybody,
It's that growth mentality.
I'm a true believer that there's a time and a place for anything, and I gotta listen to everyone's point of view. Take it in and internalize it because I don't know their experiences and what they've gone through. Maybe whatever obviously they're saying from somewhere, and it's worth a listen. It's not just like, oh, I know everything. I don't need to know what you know. I already know all the answers. I know what's better, and you don't know shit. And when you start doing that, then you're setting yourself up to
know-it-all personality.
Lose, get your ass whooped. Fail. You're setting yourself to fail, which is not bad either. Failure is not a bad thing. I don't reject failure. Failure is just a way to get better.
I know, but the people who think like that, they don't take failure well. Yeah. People who are closed off, they're not open to it as just another experience.
But that's the ego thing, right? Where they gas themselves up so hard that they feel like if they fail that they're letting everyone around them down and that kind of thing, which is a very normal thing to have, but at the end of the day, if you have it's just, for example, for martial artists, if you lose, the next day, assuming you have a good family or you have a mom and dad that love you,
okay.
They love you. You people that still love you, they all still support you. It's not like they shun you away, and the only person that's making it hard on you is yourself.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. It's all in the head, That's all it is. Whether you view yourself as the best or as the worst, is all in your mind. You know what I mean? And no matter what anyone
whether you
else
can
says,
or you can't, you're right.
Yeah, as Confucius said, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Bruce Lee say that?
Before Confucius.
No, I know. Don't check me. Yeah,
I think
you know
Bruce
that
said before
shit.
Confucius. Yeah.
I just can't trust the internet. You know why? Because
I don't know, man. I saw Abe Lincoln. Yeah,
Abe Lincoln
he said
"Don't trust the
MySpace
internet."
was the best.
Quote from Abraham
Yeah.
Lincoln right there.
Okay, so then, all right, James. So you spent that time in China.
Yeah.
So how did you then transition like to MMA, like from your mainly from your wushu and your other
That's a
martial
great
arts? Like
question.
what made you? So then you accomplished all that. What made you want to do MMA?
So as a martial artist, there's always that disconnect between like you have to do forms or you do fighting. And especially at the Beijing Sports School, they're very specific. Like you're either doing this full on or you're doing this full on. And I was like, it's such a lacking thing because you're not getting a full-rounded martial artist or athlete. And that's another thing. They just view it as a sport, where I always viewed it as martial artist. Whether I'm competing, in like world's competitions, I still thought of it as I'm a martial artist.
It's all martial arts,
Yeah. And I still do. I always will, And so, yeah, man. When I came back from China, for the first 4 years I was here, I was teaching out of this place called Northwest Wushu, training and teaching out of there. And I taught over at Yuda Wushu team as well.
Nice.
And just performing around. And during that time, I was just kind of pretty much self-taught for fighting wise. And me and my good friend, my brother, my Shongdi, his name is Jun. He also went to a Shaolin school, a different one, but
Okay.
similar, same time, just not as long. He has a martial arts school down in Beacon Hill and down in Seattle. Shout out to Jun Hong's Kung Fu Club.
Okay.
But yeah, we would just literally come in on Mondays and we would just fucking fight for like hours on end, just like light sparring. And he would come in with his sanda. It was just striking, and we would just just do it, and that was it,
That's dope.
And I just love that, you know. It was
Okay.
a little garage in Chinatown, you know, just and then I always stay training hard, you know,
Okay.
running hills, sprinting hills, and doing all that, and I don't know, there's a switch. When I was working all those jobs and doing all this and that, I was like, fuck all this, man. I want to do martial arts and just pursue a life of martial arts, and I
Okay.
figured that for the time of my age, this is what I want to do. I wanted to compete. I want to get in and compete, and I always wanted to go to AMC. And I wish the only thing I bummed about is I wish I started sooner.
So you didn't have an MMA fight before you got to AMC?
I fought like Pankration tournaments in Canada at those tournaments, you know, Can-Ams. But I had no training. But I still got medals.
But is that
fighting.
just like the fight you fought last night? Is it very similar to that? Same type of rules, regulations?
No. Well, it was like kids, so there was like no knees, no elbows. And there was ground game, but I had like no ground game. But I still was able to hold. I don't know how, but I still did okay.
Yeah.
You know, I took dudes down. I remember one of the tournaments, there was like weight classes. It's basically just like a certain weight and then up. And I ended up fighting this big ass jokey kid. He was like, he was maybe like, he looked like Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? Tall, motherfucking fat, but lanky as shit. And he obviously had like MMA training from their team, you know.
Yeah.
And I was up there, no coach. It was just me competing. My people didn't come up with me. I just went up by myself. My family, you know, my mom and dad went up. You know, and that's it, you know. And I just went out there and just fucking did my own thing. He had coaches and all this shit. And I just was out there whooping this dude up, man. And you know, he caught me in the nose, got me all bloodied up. I slipped a kick, caught his foot. I took his ass down. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing on top. I just laid on him.
Sometimes that's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, I couldn't punch him or anything, but you know, I won. You know, but from those experiences, I realized like, man, I don't know shit. There's a huge gap, and that continued on. You know, when I was in China, I got in some fights. When I came back to the States, I got in some fights, and those kind of things just made me think like, man, I'm just not a full-rounded martial artist. There's a huge gap in my understanding of the human body.
So your first actual, I would say, MMA fight though was at AMC.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like those are our first MMA fights, first like record fights for sure. Good competition.
Okay, and so then, all right. So you're there at AMC. So then what's okay?
And here's the thing with AMC.
Yeah.
When I got in there, I didn't know what to expect. You know.
What were you expecting then?
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I knew that.
You jumped off the wall and punched me in my face.
There you
That-
go.
They're like
that's your
second.
perspective.
I came right at him, you know.
Anyway.
But you know, I met everyone. I met Matt, and his philosophy on martial arts was very similar to how I viewed it too. And everyone was like with it, you know. And I was like, shit, man, this is like where I should have been, you know. It's like home, you know, because the mentality was, and since like all my other sequels were very similar to it too. They always had that mindset of like learn everything and adapt and put it into you know, express yourself through those movements. And for me, you know, that was basically what Matt was saying to all of us, and everyone was doing it, you know, just blending everything together seamlessly without any thought. And you know, to this day, we still, sometimes we talk, I'm like, damn, I was thinking about this the other day, and it's exactly what he's talking about right now, and it's like, we still have that connection still, you know. And when people in the gym too, and DJ as well, and all of you guys, man, it's just like, we all have that mentality, and I feel like it's, yeah, man, it's something, I mean, I didn't expect that, just say that. And it's more than I could have expected, for sure.
Okay. So so it's more than what you expected, but then so in terms of the competition and then the fighting, because let's just fast forward to like right now. So you had was that your fifth fight or sixth fight? So you had your sixth fight. So you had your sixth. So how has that been? How's the transition from being into MMA? How, because you've trained like for more years now. So what has been like the biggest change? Like, would you say like
Just comfortability.
Just comfortability
of fighting an MMA match, like on the feet, striking match. I've been doing that my whole life. You know, karate tournaments, kung fu tournaments, kickboxing tournaments. I fought Muay Thai in Thailand. You know, a few fights.
A lot of striking.
Shan Chao in China, exactly. But I'm way more comfortable now in the ring than, let's see, 3 fights ago maybe. I don't remember, but I was like, just like I was saying, after that Muay Thai knockout,
Yeah, right.
That type of mentality when I went in, I just didn't give a fuck. I just flew in and it's like, just go. And I just I didn't care, I just reacted, you know?
Yeah.
And then the next fight, I was like, I gotta knock this fucking dude out. I gotta knock this dude out.
the pressure.
You had to build yourself.
I built myself up. I got sick during that training camp because I didn't train properly. I mean, I don't like use that as an excuse or anything. It was a good lesson of like how not to like diet, not to starve yourself 3 weeks out before a fight.
Yeah.
Because your immune system gets a huge shock, you know, and you drop.
When you're dropping calories. And
Right,
stuff,
and you know, it was just a good lesson to learn, you know. But I adapted. I got through. I won, you know, and I just moved on to the next
That was the one that went to a decision, right?
decision, first decision. And then my fourth fight was against at 55.
Yeah.
I was like weighing
that was a really
153, a tall
yeah.
Mexican kid.
Yeah, he was real tough.
And yeah, he took some shots, but honestly, I was just too lazy. I was too like laid back. I was too relaxed that time.
Yeah. So you went the other way.
I went
You were
the other
all
way.
built up. I'm gonna knock him out.
I went the other way.
Relax, and then you.
And then the last
I'm
one,
gonna kill shit.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to chill shit.
Yeah, and I was far away,
Kill
and then I was like, shit,
Yeah.
I should have just pressed on him. And you know, looking back at it, and then the next one, was our last one, it was Canada. I just finished the guy in the second round. It was like a little better in between, you know, but I didn't utilize my combinations enough. Still in this fight, I didn't use my combination enough. I didn't set up my hands enough, and I didn't get low enough. And there's a lot of parts of the game that you know
Like you're still improving on.
needs
Yeah.
to be worked on constantly. Because the way I fight on the feet is the way I should be fighting MMA on the feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way I'm hitting moving angles and tapping, pop, pop, pop. I'm so comfortable with big gloves on, but when the MMA gloves come on, it just changes, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just because you've been doing one longer than the other.
Yeah.
That's the only. That's literally just experience.
And I don't think it's just the fact you've just been. It's still like you're making that transition because I feel it's like what you said. Martial arts is just martial arts. I think it's just taking it to the point where you can express yourself like the same way, like from there. Because I feel but but that's the thing though. It doesn't come easy. You have to, and no new person that can do it is you. Like from there, but it's like the way you're talking about, the way you're expressing your difficulty with it, it just shows like it tells me that you're really trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, because some people, what happens is that they just get stuck or they get used to, oh well, I guess that's just the way it is, and they're like, oh, guess I'm just not gonna do that, and then they force themselves, or they don't force themselves, they become used to just not trying to improve from there.
Yeah,
It's sad
but
to see, man.
coming
It
from a
is.
stand-up, like mainly just stand-up focus, I know what you're talking about though, because it's like trying to integrate all that stuff into MMA. It's different. There's just all those little nuances, the size of the gloves. Like one thing that may work in just striking, won't work in MMA. Right. But I think you've made the necessary adjustments. Like your range is really good, and I don't see you. In traditional like kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, you can. People don't always say this, but you can get away with extending more. You just can. You can get away with extending and then closing the distance on the clinch, or get away with overextending and then having a kick come over the top.
Yeah.
And MMA is just different because someone could take you down, right? I mean, they could throw a blind counter, and there's such a little amount of forgiveness that those gloves give you. You know, it just get clipped and be over. So.
And you know, I think a lot of people that fight like those rule sets, sports with rule sets like that, they play the rules like specifically. They wait for the ref to tie them up.
Yeah.
They wait to tie up so the ref breaks them apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, rules
Reset,
dictate how
take
the
your
sport's
breath.
fought.
Yeah, exactly. And it changes MMA, but it shouldn't. You shouldn't use, even in MMA now, in pro and professional MMA, you shouldn't let the rule sets dictate how you approach combat.
Yeah, fuck that. Throw a flag D, what you're not supposed to.
Headbutts, and all that shit. Just even if
Headbutts,
you can't do
gloves,
it,
really.
You gotta think about it, man. Because
I have a question about the monk stuff.
yeah, sure.
Did you ever train yourself to take
back to the
a
monk.
kick to the dick?
So with that, okay, I know. So Iron Dick, okay.
Wait.
He was prepared.
This is how you train it. Okay.
Okay.
It's a breathing technique to learn to suck your testicles up into your body. It's like when you get really cold. You know, sometimes that happens.
Wait, hold on. Are you serious, dude?
I'm dead serious. So you're not really hitting your.
No,
nuts.
dude. Wait, are you trolling or are
No,
you
I'm
dead
dead
serious?
He's serious. You can hear
Dead
him.
serious.
Yeah.
Dead serious. You take your dick out. There's one way to train it.
Wait.
You lay it on the table. Yeah. And you literally just fucking bash it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
No, you're right. He's saying that.
You guys talked about
Not just that.
No.
You also another way. You tie a rope with a weight on it. You drag it. You stay on a horse house platform. You let it hang. And
Dude, did you see Iron Dick in China?
I see a lot of shit in China.
The way you looked at me, I was really confused.
You guys have no idea, man. China was wild.
Wait, did you see Iron Dick though?
People train all sorts of shit, man. I mean, some people dedicate their whole life to that, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's cool, but I mean, at the end.
Wait, no, I just want a picture in my mind right, for the viewers. Is there, because I know you're getting up early. Was there ever a time when you wake up and then you just walk out into the courtyard and there's just some guy smashing his dick like this on the table?
I mean, so the thing with that school, everybody in that school, like, the thing is, I live with everybody. We eat. We live on top of each other. We eat together every
communal.
fucking day. We take showers. The showers are like it's open showers, like 6 stalls, like 100+ people. You get 2 hours of hot water at night. So everyone fucking crams after training. And so I see everyone. I've seen everyone's seen each other naked.
Yeah.
When we take a shit.
But James, that's
different. You're shitting next to somebody.
That's different than someone doing iron dick.
That means he definitely saw someone doing iron dick.
You watch someone.
Because see, that's where I would mentally break. No, that's where I couldn't be the monk. I would literally just go, dude, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
And that's why
I can't make it.
That's why people mentally break out there.
Yeah, I break.
But that's
like,
good though, because then afterwards you come back and you're someone else, you know.
No, I'll go home.
Dude, one dude broke so hard. This guy from Trinidad, he fucking bit somebody, man.
Oh, what?
He jumped on and fucking bit him.
Like, what did that guy do? What did that guy do to him, though?
No, I know what he's saying. It's the stress.
Yeah.
It's the sensory deprivation. This shit was like Stanford prison experiment on some level.
It was on some levels.
Yeah.
You know, if you go back, like, okay, so if you like do something that's against the school, you break a rule or something, they line you up in front of the whole fucking school, and your Sifu comes up with a stick and has to break it over your backside. It makes you in like a plank position, and he just beats the shit out of you until that stick breaks. And kids too. You guys see little kids get fucking gooned. It's called gooned, like I mean the staff in Chinese.
Gooned? What is gooned?
Yeah. And
I'm about to start using that shit. Man, you about to get gooned.
Ender.
Don't look at me when you say that.
But like, yeah, man, it was some savage shit, bro. And yeah,
See?
and it's for the whole fucking school. Like everyone sit out in the courtyard just watching.
You see, oh man, he fucked up.
So the guy who does the gooning, that's the Sifu, right?
So, yeah.
See, this will be my plan. I got it. I'll stay. I saw the dick smash. This is what I would do. I would raise myself up in the institution. I would become the gooner, and each time someone smashed their dick, I'm gooning them. I'm like, everyone come out here. No.
Sometimes.
Why are you trying to kill their idea, man? Why are you preventing them from expressing themselves?
Because that shit's stupid.
It's the old school.
What if they just? What if that's their expression?
I hear nowadays that it's a lot lighter. They don't do that as much, you know. But yeah, when I was there,
they're like, guys.
I caught the tail.
Tone it down on the dick smash.
It's not iron dick. It's like aluminum dick.
God.
Yeah, man, it's pretty savage. I just buy a cup.
And this is all guys, right? The monks. It's all men.
There's all men there, but I mean, there's females there that are like teachers for the kids that are like, you know, the math.
Did anyone ever come at you? Did anyone ever come at you?
Yeah, because so our school is people would come from like, the towns and stuff to like visit. It's like a touristy kind of thing, you know, but they can't come in the gate. Actually, okay, let me give you a story, all right? We come back from the city in a taxi, and it's winter time, so it's snowed, and the closest city is 26 miles away, And so this guy, we negotiated a price because there's no meters on the taxis, and usually it's like 60 quiet, 50 quiet, whatever. And we're going, and I look back at such a stupid kid, but like we negotiated a price, and he's going, and he's trying to go up our fucking hill, and it's like snowed out, and he gets to the top, dude, and he's like asking for more money. And we're all like, dude, we already negotiated, like, no, we're not fucking giving you more money. But in hindsight, it was just a little bit of money. But I mean, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's more about principle, you know. And he just like everyone went out of the cars and went back into the gate, you know. And I was still walking. He got in my face and wouldn't let me go through.
Oh shit!
And my friend was like inside. He comes out. He's like, "Yo, James, that dude's still out there bothering you?" And he posse'd up, and like 6 of my homies came out. And fucking dude. Man, he ran up to my boy Austin, like this big yoked ass Texan dude, right? He's fucking goes out there, so he's yelling. The only words he knows in Chinese is the fuck off in Chinese. Yelling at this dude's priorities. He runs over, he takes his shirt off. It's like snowed in the middle of the night. He like goes to the guy's car, starts shoving it down the fucking hill. He's like trying to like put it in neutral and roll it. Oh shit. My boy, and we've always been told if anyone comes across that line, the door line, fuck them up. Like if they're not allowed in there, you know, our monastery and shit. And the guy fucking came in. And my boy Mike, he just ran up and just fucking slapped the shit out of me. and dude, he's on the ground. I felt so bad. He's this old dude just like on the ground, like fucked up, and like we're all on him. And then, dude, I ran up and just slapped him, dude.
You were like, we
Fucking
negotiated
guy,
the
dude.
price.
I like how you said, like, looking
Bro.
back, it was just a little bit of money.
All
And they're
this,
just
all
like,
this shit
Yeah.
for fucking like a 10 kwai bump. 10 kwai is like not even fucking. It's a little bit more than $1.
Oh, shit.
And it's like,
Like,
dude,
But it's $1 you don't have.
Yeah.
but $1 we didn't have.
That's true, you were in the
And,
yeah. But,
you know, and but he crossed the line too. But
No,
He literally crossed the line.
He crossed the line.
If someone
He
crossed
got
that line.
But that's
Yeah.
something that he's gonna go back and tell his buddies that.
Yeah.
Because that's what's gonna happen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard stories like new students come off the train, you know, and the taxi drivers go like, "Hey man, you trying to go to that school? 500 kwai. It should only be like 50 kwai."
Oh, shit.
And he'd be like just extorting motherfuckers,
Yeah.
you know.
Dude, the same shit happened to me in DC when I went to watch a DJ fight Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
We went out there, this guy, I think he was Ethiopian, took the long route, and then I told Matt, I was like, Matt, I feel like I got in the
Yeah.
taxi, and Matt was like, he's like, you tell him, if they start taking the long route, I know what you're fucking doing.
Yeah.
And you stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then so I'm in the fucking taxi, and on my way back, and I'm just waiting. The guy takes like the shortest route, get there on time, and then I get out, and I'm like, I know what you fucking did, and you did a hell of a job. You did a great job. But yeah, dude, you can get scammed. That's just like anything. They
Yeah,
can tell your new
anywhere.
booty, they're gonna just
Yeah.
get that cake, bro.
Yeah.
I missed the train because of that. Some guy in Beijing, the taxi dickhead, did that to me, man.
Oh wait, I think you talked about this. How you ended up like hours away from where you were supposed to be.
That was
was a
different.
bus ride.
That was a different thing. That was
Okay.
when I was traveling from Thailand to China to do a world tournament
Oh, okay.
in the wrong city. But that's something different. I was just trying to catch a train to somewhere from. I was in Beijing.
Okay.
And yeah, this guy just literally drove past. I was like telling him, "Hey man, the exit's right here. The exit's right here." He's like looking at me, and he literally drove past it on purpose so the mirror would keep running.
What the fuck?
And then I was like, "You motherfucker! I just missed my
Hey
train."
man, I know what you're doing.
And then, so I saw where the subway was, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, pull over right here, pull over right here. And he pulls over, I just grabbed him, I just slapped him, and I fucking went out the door and just fucking booked it to the subway. And that was
So
it.
is that like, that's what you're supposed to do in China? You're supposed to slap motherfuckers who are getting over it. You're supposed to.
I said, slapped him, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Fucking ran.
Scott goes to China and starts slapping everyone. Hey, you didn't give me my proper change.
I'm like, there's not enough food here.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you know this, but I got arrested twice in China, man.
Oh,
I got
damn.
arrested twice. Fucking fights, man. Got a fight with police officers almost. Like, every time my friends got in a fight, it was like in a club. It was people getting drunk and fights happen. And I see my friends are fighting and I try to break it up and I get roped in. But it was a crazy experience, man. I gotta say, man, it shaped me to who I was, you know. I learned
So
a
wait,
lot
you
from
fought
it.
the cops though, bro?
So it was a big fight at this place
Fighting
in
law
Beijing.
enforcement's different in Asia.
Mixed nightclub.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The DJ on the stage knows my friends apparently, and I went to Beijing to see him off because when we're from Seping City or in the rural area of that area, you fly out. You have to go to Beijing to fly out to
Okay.
get back home. International flights, right? So
Okay.
they went there, and I wanted to go see him off. You know, so it was like last couple nights to party and kick it, you know, whatever. So they went to go to this club, one of the bigger clubs in Beijing. They went to see their boy that's DJing, whatever. He's like a Brazilian dude, and my boy Wack and Ibby are like, one guy's Pakistani, the other one's Israeli. They're both from England, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're
Fucking
all,
wanker.
yeah, and we had some English friends there also with us earlier, but they got fucked up and had to go back to the hostel we're all staying at, yeah. So we were us three just carried on. This is my first time in Beijing. We're at this club. The DJ's like, "Oh, yo, guys, come on up here, come on up here." And we're trying to go up, and the Chinese security boss is like, "Yo, you guys can't fucking go up here." And we're like, "Oh man, it's cool, man, it's cool. We know what it is." He's like really being like. a
What he
dick.
did right there is he pulled his dick out and he started. That's what he was pretty
So
much
this is
doing.
what happened, man.
Yeah.
This is what happened. He got to a point he started mouthing on. He said, "Fuck you" to my friends, and my boy's like, "Man, fuck you." He's like, "Oh yeah," and he like grabbed him to throw him out of there. You know, we all train fucking martial arts. Like that's
Yeah.
all we've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Big
boy,
mistake.
My boy fucking Ibby, instinctively in China, just fucking. That's what you learn. You smack him right in the nuts, right? So he like.
He got iron dick
fucking-
without knowing it.
Hit him in the nuts and starts, you know, kind of like in a table gets pushed over and someone's bottle falls off and shatters. And I come up and try to break it up. Like, "Oh man, it's all good, guys, it's all good." And I had the security guy pushed up against like a big speaker. My boy Wacka comes up fucking behind me and he's like, the guy's right here. He goes behind me and just fucking clocks the dude, yeah.
Shit.
And the guy like head like bounce on the speaker and drops in front of me. I'm like, "Oh fuck!" And then my boys like
Drop the bass.
They dart off into the club and everyone's like in the area is like, "Oh shit!" Like
Yeah.
they stopped, you know, dancing and shit. And I was just standing kind of there myself, and I was kind of like slow to like react to it. And then security guys grabbed me. All those security guys came and grabbed me.
Shit.
I was like, "Oh!" And China's like, "Yo, guys, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. It's all good. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. They're like dragging me out as they're saying this. I get to the door, there's a dude waiting for me. He just fucking clocks me right in the nose. And just like blood everywhere. And I start freaking out and start scuffling, and it carries on to like the parking lot. And then it gets to the point where like the fighting kind of like died down. We're like, okay, it's cool. I'm leaving, and then Wack and Ibby at that moment trying to sneak out the front door like with their heads down like this. And of course they get caught.
Yeah,
and
the Palestinian.
Yeah, and then a big ass fight just pops off.
Wait, was it? It was a Pakistani in it. He's from Pakistan.
And the guy's from Israel.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it's a Palestinian. I was like,
they're
it's more
English.
episode of Palestinian and Israeli are just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out together.
Well,
they're both from England.
Yeah.
So Pakistani and
peace, world peace, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Like, oh hey, oh man, look at those people
so this
fighting
big
over
scrap
there.
starts popping off, man, and dude, it was us versus like all these fucking big ass Chinese bouncers. But surprisingly, we're holding our own pretty good, but more and more guys kept flooding out and shit.
Yeah.
And the owner of the club, this guy named Willie, who I met later, he's a little short Asian dude with bald head, comes out with a rubber nightstick, starts beating fucking Wacko up and shit.
Oh, shit.
And dude, it got to a point where Wacko was getting held up like some bouncers, and this fucking buff ass Asian dude comes out in a pink like button up short sleeve, looking pretty sharp, comes out, does a fucking flying knee to Wacko, just claps him.
Flying knee right to the
Claps
head.
Josh yeah, to the chest, right to the chest. Josh
And he
Kidd,
right in the
He was
chest.
like, shit's illegal as he's going out. Shit's illegal.
It was fucking
No,
crazy.
literally, it's assault.
I find out later that guy was like the head. He trains all the bouncers. He's a martial art. He trains all the fucking bouncers.
Yeah.
And he's like head security or whatever. I get hit with a rubber nightstick in the back.
Oh.
I turn around, sock the motherfucker, and it's like doing a fucking police outfit. And I'm like, oh
shit.
fuck. And
Yeah.
You hit the
we got our asses whooped for a little minute.
Yeah.
And
By the
scary-
cops?
Yeah. Everybody.
Though not the bouncers.
No, they're homies with the fucking cops because, dude, they just fucking laid on us, laid us out.
Yeah.
And the scary thing was, at this time, I didn't really know Mandarin that well. I spoke Cantonese.
Yeah.
They didn't just drive us away. They walked us. All the security, the owner, all the cops fucking walked us around the club. There's a police station like behind it, but we didn't just go through like the streets. We were like through a dark park with no lights, nothing.
Oh, shit.
And they were
You
like,
thought it was over
I
back
thought
then?
we were fucking dead. I was
Yeah.
like, these guys are gonna go kill us now.
Yeah.
We're dragging us through this fucking park. We get through. Taking little fucking cheap shots at us on the way there, like to the bodies and shit. It was fucking, dude. And we get to the fucking police station, and I'm
They're like, you guys would really
Yeah.
acting tonight. Yeah,
dude,
motherfucker.
fucking
pigs.
happened like that. We get to the fucking police station, I didn't have our passports, and we just fucking started lying straight out our ass, just like, I'm from fucking Hong Kong, he's
Yeah.
from Pakistan, he's from Israel, we got no money, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we said from America and England, they would have been like, stored us for hella money.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of it, what happens is they took Wack and Ibby to a fucking ATM, took out a shit ton of their money. And not like, a decent amount, and to pay us out.
Asian law enforcement.
We came back, they got held and detained a little bit longer. I had my license, my Washington State license with me.
Okay.
My 50, whatever, and they took that and like made a copy of it and like, all right, man, you good to go.
There's a copy of James' license in Beijing.
They come back with the money.
That little town, they're just sitting there, and it's like this huge poster, like if that motherfucker ever comes back.
yeah. No, but like after I was giving them the money, it was all smiles, it was all good afterwards. It was for damages of that table and that
Oh,
ball.
that's definitely an out-of-court settlement. That's
You
like,
know what I mean?
That's like,
just eye it out.
Yeah.
It's cool. Then the owner of the club, Willie, he's like, "Hey man, I feel bad because only I gotta go out first. They had to like stay,
Yeah.
And they're like, "It's cool, man. Just get out of here, man. We'll catch up with you, man." Shit. I just felt all conflicted, and the owner, Willie, the owner of the club, was like, "Just come with me, man. Let's go. Let's get out of here." And he takes me. His car is out front, and all his bouncer buddies are walking back to the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I had blood all on my shirt. He gave me like a free mixed shirt, the club name, a shirt on it, and like
Okay.
he drives me back to the club. It's like 6 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning. Yeah. And the club is still fucking going crazy. Nothing changed.
no, actually, it got more hyped after that.
Oh, shit, you
It was popping, dude. And then when he took me out, we sat down, and obviously they knew I was bullshitting because I was telling him the whole time I'm from Hong Kong. I was pretending I couldn't speak English. They could speak English pretty good,
Yeah.
And he's like, I was just in Hong Kong the other day, man, or like last week. Everyone speaks Mandarin, Cantonese, and English out there, man. I know you speak Mandarin. I was just like trying to speak in broken English, but I mean, he fucking knew I was bullshitting,
How did your broken English accent sound?
I don't even know how I did it, man. But I was like trying to really play it off.
You're
Like
just running on adrenaline.
I just pretended I could only speak Cantonese. That's what
Yeah.
I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But he's like, man, we were drinking a few beers, and I was like, I just want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had to just stay out of respect because he drove me and all this shit. And he's like, hey man, if you want, I'll get you a prostitute, I'll get you a hooker and all of this. I'm like, you know what? I should probably get back,
Go
see
for
my,
it.
get my boys, get my
Because
friends.
I was like,
you
the
know?
story's about to get a little bit more interesting depending on what you said. Sandy, don't watch this
It's okay. It's way too long.
It's way too long. But
Like-
and yeah, man. I walk back. I get to leave. He's like, come back tonight, man. Come back to the club tonight. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll be back. And I was like, fuck, I am.
Fuck that shit.
And I started walking back to that park, same park now. It's like sunlight now. Going back towards to the police station to get my boys to see if they get out or not, you know. And that dude that was in that pink shirt is out in the fucking park training.
Oh shit.
And he's like, he sees me, and we see each other, and he's like, it's just us in the park. He's like, he calls me over. I'm like, here we go, get him, motherfucker. We go and do this, and then we spend like 20-30 minutes, and we're like, he's like, hey, you get pretty good, man. You do martial arts, man. He's like, yeah, I'm a head security. I train martial arts. Like yeah, we're all from a Shoreline school and blah blah blah. And he's like, oh yeah, when I grew up as a kid at a Shoreline school, and we started chopping it up, and he ended up teaching me and training me for like 20-30 minutes, dog, in the fucking park. And then I just like, and I started, as we're doing it, you know, just because my nose is still busted, I started bleeding. And he took like some grass blades and like stuck it in my nose to fog it off. It's all good, man. It's all good. And we just started training, dog. It was
ancient Chinese secret.
It was something, man. And you know,
little did you know he pissed in that grass before.
I had a feeling, but you know, after just surviving what I just survived.
It doesn't matter. I'll put some pissy grass in there.
I was like, fuck it. You know?
That shit is crazy.
Martial arts bringing people together.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was my first time in Beijing.
You must have really been scrapping, bro.
Literally, I was 18, turning 18, you know, or 18 now, I think, and like that was my first going out in clubs, because you know, here you can't go out in clubs like that. So I was first time like really doing anything with alcohol and like.
Yeah,
you get fucking crazy.
You're crazy,
when
dog.
You go out to the club, you're 8. I mean, my 21st birthday, first time going out to a club, I got fucking thrown out. Fucked up, bro. Oh yeah.
That's how you're supposed to do it, though.
Yeah, I got hella fucked up,
dude.
I slid down an entire staircase, like, and landed at the bottom, and the bouncer looks, and he's like, you know you gotta leave, right? I was like, yeah, I know, man, but there's this girl up there, and he's like, bro, she's probably just forgotten about you. I was like, you right, dog, you right. Put me outside, I was just fucking...
Well, nice negotiation tactics by that guy.
I was just fucking bloodshot eyes.
You know you gotta leave.
You know you gotta go, huh?
Yeah, I got it.
Just let me get a number, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I could have been talking to a fucking like pole or something. You know, I was that fucked up.
Yeah, man, that pole was real nice.
They were like, no, there's some dude up there looking for you. God damn it! Shit. What's his number?
Yeah, come back.
Like, those kind of experiences make you, better person.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That kind of shit.
That's true, and you wouldn't have gotten those experiences. You wouldn't have the same thing if you went to college.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got so. I didn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
It's more life experience than anything, and seeing how people really live outside of like a comfortable America. Even just seeing different people from all around the world. Because China at that time was a hotspot for like the Olympics. So people from all around the world coming through for business. You meet people from all around it, and general consensus is that people hate Americans, and I understand why. Because the typical traveling American is pretty fucking obnoxious.
But, and our foreign policy is dog shit.
But
too, so.
Who isn't obnoxious that travels out of the country? I mean, everyone's obnoxious.
Yeah.
Chinese people are obnoxious. Everyone's obnoxious.
Well, it's obnoxious because also you don't really know the culture.
I mean, I can't say everybody but the people that you do see
generally,
you get that general vibe,
Yeah.
But it's all about person to person. I just, I don't judge people like that, I judge everyone.
Well, that's why it's like politics. Like you can't make a generalization about like a country's political decisions with the citizens themselves.
Right.
It's like, but if you're an American and you go to France, I've had a couple people who've gone there. It's like, no, they blame you motherfucker for what America's done in foreign policy. It's like the invasion in Iraq, that's your fault.
Yeah, but
Afghanistan, that's your motherfucking
Hey, how about World War II?
Yeah, World War II. They're like, oh fuck it, we have short-term memory. Yeah. Colonization, their colonization, that's your fault.
How about their colonization of Vietnam?
Vietnam, fucking Algeria, right?
But don't get me wrong. I met a lot of beautiful people when I was in China. People like really, man. A lot of people in there had hearts of gold, and that was something that like I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just that was something very
pink
special.
shirts and flying knees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but at the end of it,
Pink
he
shirts
was
and
a guy,
flying
right?
Yeah, gave you some grand.
He was just doing his damn job, man.
Yeah.
He was just doing his job, and
That's true.
just
I would
fucking
definitely fly
dudes
knees
acting
somebody
crazy.
No, you see his job titles like if someone has their arms bound and they're getting ready to throw them out the club, you throw a flying knee.
No, you
Contact.
only job. That's what you train James for the half hour. All right, so let's say me and my boy.
Oh, so you specialize in the flying knee because of that guy, and you showed Josh.
Josh knocked me down. No, he taught me this style called Xingyi.
Xingyi. Okay.
Yeah. So.
It's actually it translates to iron dick.
So what are you?
It's nasty. It's a nasty game, dude.
Yeah. It's a dirty game.
People dedicate their whole life to just that.
Smashing their dick?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
what
he
happens?
said.
It forms callus. It gets thick.
No, wait, their whole life?
You lose nerves.
You lose nerves. You don't
can't
feel
process
it.
Yeah, I don't know, Scott. You really seem
Just in,
yeah.
just in case they ever get kicked in the nuts.
Yeah. Because
Their
think about
whole goddamn life. Like, I just don't.
They dedicate themselves.
They dedicate themselves. No, think about it. Don't you remember? Like in the beginning of the story, that's what one of James's boys is the first thing he did.
Yeah.
No, I get
Yeah,
that.
China.
We're talking about something different, though. You're talking about, like, dedication, your whole life, to smashing your own dick.
And that's the problem with some of the martial arts.
That's what that guy wants to do.
Yeah. Iron hands too. People do that with just, you can iron anything, you know.
And then they can't.
That's fine. I don't care. The hands are fine. No, but you guys are being too, like, relative. You're like, oh,
No, we're not.
Do what you want. Do what you want if you want to smash your dick and all the nerves. It's your life, freedom. Like, the guy's smashing. I know, it's fine. I'm not going to have someone arrest him. I'm just going to, like, I'm going to talk shit because that's my freedom, too. I'm like, bro, your whole...
But then what if he goes
I'm
and hits
6
you in the dick?
Yeah, I'll go down because my dick is okay.
Well, you wear a cup. That's why I always thought, like, why don't you just buy a cup
Yeah.
if you're not worried
That
about
guy's
it?
not wearing a cup in his fights.
That guy will
Comes
not
here-
spend that
No,
20
that's a
bucks.
weapon of his. You kick his dick and you hurt his foot.
He's like, he just comes in like, all right.
Give me a shot. Give me a shot.
Fucking leg
No,
break.
man, don't hit him in the dick. It's what he wants you to do. It's a trap.
He just pelvic thrust.
He gets like north-south and just
You know, it's
KO.
almost too much like a mystical like aspect of it. Like
Yeah.
people think that I'll have iron head. Like you see that fighter,
Yeah.
it's like takes shots to the head.
Oh,
they-
yeah,
the
he's
shot
knocked out.
box or something.
That's just a lack of education.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's just, that's,
He's saying that guy's dumb as shit. That's what he's saying.
Don't do that, kids. If you watch it, don't
yeah,
do that.
the bones around your skull can get a little harder, thicker. You know, I've seen kids get thick skulls. You know, but like your brains and you can't thicken your
Yeah.
brain up. You get rattled.
If
That's
anything,
it,
that gets worse because then
it gets
just-
worse every
yeah.
time. And it's just a
Yeah,
lack
it's
of
just like when you're
education.
talking about concussion. When you shake
Yeah,
the egg.
man.
Yeah.
So that, just to cut, because we're gonna bring it in for a landing here. What are your goals, man? Are you just taking it one fight at a time? Is there like a time limit on this? Do you have a window for yourself?
So I said like having a championship belt doesn't mean anything. You know, like in the aspect of like.
We're talking, when you said that, we understand you mean the bigger scheme of
Yeah.
life. We were 30,000 feet hovering above that question. I mean just immediate goals. Like, are you going to get a couple more fights and then
Man.
move on to something else? Or are you going to
No.
do it till you get into the UFC? Like, what
Definitely, I want to take it to as high as I can go, all the way if I can. You know, I want to get belts and be a world champion, you know, of course. But the biggest thing is I just want to inspire people to follow their dreams, follow their heart, and you know, just be truthful to themselves. That's the biggest thing, you know. Life's too short to not like
Yeah.
to
Be
not,
honest.
to not do that.
That's why I say some crazy shit on this podcast, because that's just me. It's a lot of bullshit.
expressing yourself.
I'm expressing myself, though,
Yeah.
so don't
Yeah,
hold
but,
me.
you know,
Be
one
you-
day-
be
one
you,
day
Scott.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be that
Right.
person that wakes up one day and just be like,
Exactly. It's
you
a
know,
no regrets thing.
Yeah. I mean, time's fleeting, man.
Authenticity is what you're talking about. And it sounds like you're just after that authentic life.
I'm
That
just,
is inspiring.
I'm
It is.
on a journey as a martial artist, and that's just how it. And as a martial artist, maybe that's just life in general. But yeah, man, I just want to do good in the world, have other people do good, inspire others to do good. That's it.
Yeah,
Well, I know you inspire me.
me too, bro.
I'm inspired by everybody around me too. All you guys inspire me.
Your
Even,
fights-
even Ender.
I'm raising my hand, but no one can see it.
Just
so.
put your head down, Ender.
We're gonna laugh when Ender gets beyond like there's the self-crippling doubt he has
Yeah.
right now as a youth, and
Yeah.
just becomes super confident, like,
Yeah.
just talking shit to us.
What
I'm
if,
inspired by Ender.
what if Ender does the full 180, becomes like new McGregor? We're like, oh no, we created
We
a
created a
monster. No.
He's like, you want to see something? Zip, dick on the table. It was that podcast.
Ender goes like,
He becomes an Uber mogul, and he's like, make sure you drive up the fare on every single person you pick up. They're like, what? He's like, you don't get it in the boardroom. That guy negotiates like a son of a bitch. He pulled his dick out at a meeting, smashed it, and then slapped our key investor. Shit, we're doing everything that guy says.
We do business with them. We do business with them. That guy got plans.
yeah, it was that episode that changed Ender's life.
Yeah.
This is why I
April
still need
29th.
that
You inspired
Yeah,
me.
you inspired
Gotcha,
him.
brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, James.
Oh man. Yeah, thank you, James.
That's what he says. They're
Contain
like,
me.
Yeah.
they're like international
I'll let you
business.
loose. I can contain you.
Yeah,
I'll let you lose.
yeah, man. You inspired him. You did. It's accessible. That's
There you go.
inspiring.
The
Yeah.
camera can't see Ender's fake smashing his dick right now. It's pretty
Well,
Will he ever get camera time?
yeah.
Never.
Hell no.
Never. Well, we will have the 12-hour Ender special.
Dude, buddy,
wow.
nobody's gonna do that.
Yeah,
It's
the
too
inner
long.
special's not happening. But you know what can happen though? You can donate to this great podcast on
Yeah.
www.patreon.com/pankration.
And if you
Yeah.
guys watch the videos, share them.
Yes.
Just share them or share the SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Share it with the people
Yeah,
you know.
if you're
We
listening,
want-
thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you're watching,
Dates.
thanks for watching.
help us
You
get
know?
exposure. It's
Yeah.
really, this is on
Yeah.
you guys too to keep pushing this, and we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thanks
this.
for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thank you to James
Appreciate
Yang
you
for coming
having
on.
us on
Thanks for
there.
having me on.
Amazing
Yeah.
person. Check him out. Try to support his local fights when he does fight.
Yeah.
Just take an interest in everything James is doing because we support everything he's doing. He's an amazing human. It's great
Yeah.
to have him on.
Thank you.
Congrats on your victory again, bro.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to watch you fight, man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the help.
Pleasure to be a part of your journey too.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the time, guys. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
man.
pleasure being here with you
Oh.
guys.
Iron Dick.
Iron Dick.
Is that how we're going out? Iron Dick.
Iron Dick signing out.
In the deleted scenes, you guys all look your dicks at this.
Sorry, ladies. I gotta go. Friends.
Yeah. Whoa. Iron Dick.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. All right, I'm stopping the press.
All right, cool, man.